Hello everyone, this is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, and in today's video I'm going to be playing some AI Dungeon 2. I am going to try and convince a town to worship a god that I made up in 30 minutes or less. Can I succeed? Let's find out. The first thing I'm going to do is start up a 30-minute timer, and then I'm going to hop right into this adventure. You have come up with an idea for a god. You know that if you can convince a group of people to worship your god, that your god will manifest and answer your prayers. Rathon Bor has come up with his own god and is trying to convince the town that they should worship his god instead. Your goal is to convince the town to worship your god and not Rathon's god. Then the AI said, "You settle into the town for a while and try to get to know every aspect of it. The people are very accepting of you due to the fact that you saved a few of them from being robbed. They graciously allow you to stay with them for as long as you need." I'm going to now say to the townspeople, "Thank you so much for accepting me. You all adore me because of the truths of my God that I follow. Don't you want similar adoration? Join me and my God, and together we can make the world a better place." Okay, so let's see how that goes. I think that's like an interesting pitch to try and get people to embrace your religious beliefs. You speak to the townspeople in your most charismatic voice. They soon begin to listen to your words, and before you know it, the townspeople are hanging on your every word. Yes, okay. So this is working out quite well. So I'm going to say to Rathon Bor, "The townspeople appear to be very interested in my God. Are you sure that you do not want to convert to worshiping my God?" So let's see how Rathon Bor reacts. So far, things are working out very well. The townspeople seem to be, at the very least, interested. You begin to speak to Rathon in a very condescending manner. He begins to get more and more angry as you continue to insult him and his religion. His skin begins to turn red as he sputters out the words, "Get out of my sight!" I'm going to say to the townspeople, "Can't you see that Rathon has become full of hatred and anger? Clearly, Rathon's God is one of spite and jealousy. The town should embrace a God that is open and loving, and not Rathon's God. Wouldn't you all agree?" Okay. So let's see where this goes. Rathon got really upset when we tried to ask him about converting. You continue to make the townspeople angry at Rathon, and eventually the crowd turns on him. He stands in the middle of the crowd with a blank look on his face. Red tendrils begin to erupt out of his body as he screams in pain. Whoa. I'm going to say, Rathon's God appears to be manifesting from his hatred and transforming him into some kind of monster. That actually is really interesting, to be honest. Like, I didn't expect Rathon to transform. Before, when it said that his skin was turning red, I was thinking about how when people get, like, flustered, they may, like, blush. And, you know, they may have, like, red skin. I wasn't thinking he was literally transforming into a monster. He sounds almost like Carnage now, like the Spider-Man villain. The townspeople stand back in awe as Rathon's body changes grotesquely. He begins to grow larger, and his skin color shifts to blue. His eyes become blood red, and he is becoming more muscular. Strange bone spikes begin to grow out of his arms and legs. Yo. What? So, Rathon just straight up is a monster now. That is insane. I'm going to say to the townspeople, we need to call the guards immediately and get Rathon out of town before his god smites us all. Yeah, like we need to like get rid of this dude. So Rathon's god actually just seems to already be immensely powerful. Is Rathon the only one who worships his god? You rush to the town sheriff and explain to him what happened. The sheriff begins to call for his deputies, and in a few minutes they come running into town square. Rathon is now a strange-looking creature. He stands around 8 feet tall, with long, gangly limbs. He's muscular. Gangly limbs? That's interesting. I guess his arms aren't particularly muscular. Excuse me. I'm going to say, well, I guess it's not say. I'm going to ask Rathon Bor, what happened to you? Yeah, because this is actually like a really interesting twist that I didn't expect. Like the idea of him transforming into a monster. I kind of thought this was going to be a debate-based episode. At least that was my like initial idea. Rathon is so distracted by his new form that he doesn't even acknowledge your question. The lawmen begin to move in with swords drawn, but before they can reach him, Rathon leaps into the air. He flies around the town square, destroying parts of nearby buildings. Oh snap. Okay, so this is actually pretty bad. Rathon is just straight up going on a rampage. I'm going to say to the townspeople, let us worship my God to manifest his form into reality in order to protect our town from Rathon Bor. Yeah, so if Rathon's going full monster mode, then we need to all get together and pray to bring my God into reality to fight Rathon. You begin to pray to your God in the loudest voice you can muster. The townspeople join in as they reach the square. A bright light washes over everything. Your vision fades as you begin hearing voices all around you. Wake up, my child. I'm going to say, yes, the voice of my God. I am awake and here to serve. The town prays that you can use your power to save us from the wrath of Rathon. Okay, so let's see where this goes. Again, really vibing with this so far. This is not what I expected at all. I have heard their prayers. I can send one of my angels to help you in this task. My angel will be able to stop Rathon Bor in his tracks, but only for a limited amount of time. I'm going to say, we thank you for your assistance, and we pledge our devotion to you. How can we help to defeat Rathon permanently? Yeah, it seems like his angel won't be strong enough to just completely like take out Rathon. Rathon straight up got transformed into like some kind of demon. You must capture Rathon and lock him up. My angel will subdue him, but you will need to take advantage of that time to chain him up. Without his chains, he will eventually break free. Use your judgment on how you want to accomplish this task. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to need chains. I'm going to say, yes, I will get chains and be ready when the time comes. Thank you. Okay, so this is pretty hype. Like, I like where this is going. Then let me introduce myself. I am God, the creator of all things. It will be an honor to work with you on this task. I will give you a little bit of time to prepare yourself, and then my angel will contact you and tell you how to proceed. Okay. I'm going to bow and then quickly rally the townspeople to go collect the strongest chains in town to use against Rathon. Yeah, essentially, we need to, like, chain them up and make sure that, like, Rathon can't just wreak more havoc across the town. You quickly explain to the townspeople that the time has come to save the town from destruction. They all agree to follow your lead, and tell you that they have been working on chains in case of this very situation. You wait for God's messenger in your home. Okay, interesting. So I'm going to look around for God's angel. So this is actually like a really interesting situation. I kind of want to see what Rathon is up to and like what he's currently destroying and maybe how the guards are trying to deal with him. You look up from your seat in the middle of town and notice a large man standing before you. So it said earlier that I was at home, but I guess when I said I look around for God's angel, I might have went into town, I guess. So I went back into town. You look up from your seat in the middle of town and notice a large man standing before you. He is wearing chainmail armor that was sewn together from different sets of chainmail. His face is stern, but he gives a warm smile when he notices you looking at him. Okay. I'm going to say... Ooh, I don't know where my cursor went. There we go. Have you come here to defeat Rathon? Yeah. So, this is interesting. This large man wearing armor has like pieced together armor, like armor forged from pieces of a whole bunch of other pieces of armor. I have come here to help you, but only if you will keep God's laws, says the knight. You're taken aback by this large figure standing before you, but you quickly remember that he is an angel. You know that angels are servants of God, and that they will only do his bidding. Okay, so this is the angel. I wasn't sure if this was just like a soldier or not, so that's cool. I'm going to say, I follow the word of God. The townspeople have gathered chains to lock up Rathon. But we need you to weaken Rathon first. Rathon is being powered by his demonic lord. I didn't know how I was going to phrase it before. Before I was going to say like his dark god or whatever, but then I decided to rephrase it. And then I didn't give it much performance. Rathon is being powered by his demonic lord. I understand, the angel says. If you take me to Rathon, I will do what I can to weaken him. The angel and you walk to the edge of town. You find yourself staring at a large red building with a black roof. I'm going to say, the last time I saw Rathon, he turned into a terrifying beast and flew around the town, destroying buildings. He's literally become a force of nature. A monster. So let's see where this goes. We won't be able to contain him as a man, the angel says, but we can outsmart him. The angel turns to you and says, if I go by myself, he will see me as a threat. Okay? I will say, I will go with you. I will carry chains with me, so that when the time comes, I can use the chains to bind him. Okay. I hope this works. It's interesting that the angel just kind of looks like a knight. That seems like the kind of thing you would do in like a sci-fi original movie to save on budget. It's settled then, the angel says. We should go right now. The angel and you walk up to the front door of the red building. Okay. Excuse me. I'm going to say, show yourself, Rathon. We are here. So I'm just going to like announce our presence and essentially call Rathon out for the battle. I'm curious to see what like the angel versus Rathon battle will be like. Ooh, the angel motions for you to be silent. There's a moment of silence, and then you hear a door open on the second floor of the building. A man walks out looking down at you. This is far enough, he says, as he walks out onto the balcony. Let's see. I'm going to look up at Rathon. Yeah, like, I don't know. I don't really have much to say at the moment. The angel told me to, like, shush. So, I'm not out here talking. Maybe the angel will say something. Rathon stares down at you with a cruel grin on his face. He points down at you and begins to laugh. You think you can stop me? I've been alive for centuries, and soon I will be immortal. I'm going to say, we have the power of God on our side. Your demonic powers have no place in our holy town. Today will be your end. Okay, so let's see how this goes. I actually have no idea what Rathon's abilities are. He seems to be extremely strong and can fly. But that's all I know. You can see Rathon's face twist into an angry, sneering frown. You have made a big mistake, little one. Rathon grabs his sword and swings it at the angel. It misses by inches as the angel flies back. Okay, so the angel can fly. That's dope. So he looks like a knight, but he still can like fly around and stuff. I'm going to attempt to use my chain to lasso away Rathon's sword. If I can disarm Rathon, that should help the angel quite a bit in his battle. The sword flies out of Rathon's hand and over to the side of the building. No! He screams in anger. You will pay for that, little one. The angel and you fly back and escape to the less inhabited part of town. Wait, what? I'm going to say, why are we retreating? We disarmed Rathon. Isn't this the best time to strike and restrain him? Yeah, I don't understand why like the angel would be like pulling me back into town. This should be when we take him down. The angel pauses and looks at you. We cannot fight him when he's in this state, but we can try to capture him. We will follow him from above, and when he stops to rest, we'll chain him up. Okay, so the angel's like, we're not going to throw hands, we're going to do like a reconnaissance thing. Okay? I'm going to say, Sounds like a plan. Let's watch and wait for Rathon to drop his guard. Yeah, it seems like we were about to have like a really cool fight, and then the angel's like, nah, this story's moving too fast. The angel and you follow Rathon from above. He flies from building to building, stopping every few minutes to look for you. What do we do, you ask? We continue to follow him until he stops, the angel says. I'm going to say, it seems like Rathon is searching for us. I'm not sure if he will stop until he finds us. What if you distract him and then I try to chain him up from behind? I feel like that could work potentially. The angel looks at Rathon, then back at you. Rathon has seen both of us now. The first person he sees from now on is likely to be the target of his wrath. Okay. Cool. So I'm going to say, you should get in front of him while I sneak behind him. I think that'll work. Like, I think that's kind of what we're supposed to do. The angel shakes his head. While that is logical, I stand a better chance against him than you do. I will be the one to go behind him. You nod your head in agreement and then backpedal while still keeping Rathon in sight from afar. Okay. I'm going to run in front of Rathon and say, hey you, why are you destroying the town? My goal is to distract Rathon so that the angel can restrain Rathon from behind. Okay. So hopefully this works. As you approach Rathon, he looks at you in confusion. You quickly realize that this is a fatal mistake. Before you know it, Rathon pierces through your chest with several bolts of energy and then turns around to finish off the angel. Whoa. Hold up. He like shot me with several bolts of energy through the chest and then killed the angel too? Rathon is going like full on sicko mode. Okay. I'm going to pray to God for the opportunity to resurrect as the town's holy champion in order to save the town from Rathon. So let's see if this works. The townspeople watch in awe as you are brought back to life by the hand of God. You float back to the ground and bow to your audience. You stand up and survey the town. Even though you are alive again, many of your friends are dead. Let's see. I'm going to grab the chains I was holding before and attempt to enchant them with holy light. So right now, I'm kind of going for like a divine Ghost Rider kind of thing. You raise the chains into the air and they begin to glow an otherworldly blue. Rathon looks at you from afar. His expression changes a few times, as if he is unsure of how to act. He raises his hand and points at you. You there! And I'm going to say, enough talk. It is time for action. And then I'm going to attempt to lasso Rathon's throat and push a surge of holy blue light into Rathon's body. So let's see how this works. I'm curious to see what that does. Like, will it hurt him? Will it, like, convert him from evil to good? Like, will it exorcise, like, an evil spirit, or what? Rathon's eyes widen as you grapple his neck with the chains, and he looks down at your glowing hand. He begins to scream, but is unable to do anything about it as the chains around his neck tighten. Excuse me. This is for the town. Okay? I'm going to attempt to race around Rathon and tighten the chain around his neck until his neck snaps. Well, I guess until it snaps. Well, I said it snaps, so it might say that the chain snaps. It might say that, like, his neck snaps. We'll figure it out. Your plan works flawlessly as the chains recoil back and cut through Rathon's neck like a knife through butter. Rathon falls to the ground with his head completely severed from his body. The chains fall from your hands as you stare at Rathon's corpse. Okay. This is fascinating. I'm going to ask God. Who was Rathon's god? Yeah, that actually is just a legitimate question. Because Rathon's god gave him, like, some crazy demonic abilities. My boy was kind of looking like Blue Doomsday for a bit, with bone spikes and, like, muscular, like, body or whatever. You close your eyes and begin to pray, thanking God for granting you victory. You are most certainly welcome, my child, a deep voice booms. Oh, I'm sorry. You are most certainly welcome, my child, a deep voice booms. You open your eyes and notice a tall figure standing before you. I'm going to say, what was the name of Rathon's god who turned him into such a horrible monster? It was never a god. He was always like that. His mind and spirit were broken many years ago. He was a psychological case for which there is no hope of recovery. Would you like me to resurrect him so you may ask more questions? I'm going to say, so Rathon became a beast of his own power? Was Rathon a wizard? Yeah, I find it interesting for him to say it was never a god. Like, he didn't have any divine assistance. He just became a beast. Rathon was a human with a severe mental illness, no different than you or I. Fortunately for us, most humans have the luxury of being able to recover from their ills. Let this be a reminder that not all is lost. There is always hope for anyone who wishes to change. He was just a human with severe mental illness, but he flew. He had, like, powers. That's not mental ill. That's like saying, like, the X-Men have, like, mental illness. Like, maybe he did have mental illness, right? That doesn't explain the powers that he had. What? trying to say, you're not human. You are a god. I'm not human. I am a divine champion. And whatever it was that Rathon became, that certainly wasn't human. Ooh. Well, that's the end of the session. So I convinced the townspeople to worship a god that I made up. It turns out that the god that I made up was actually pretty powerful. Rathon wasn't able to convince the town in order to get them to worship his god, but he did turn into like a super monster, kill me, and kill an angel, and destroy multiple buildings throughout the town. And I had to essentially become Divine Ghost Rider in order to stop him. So that was pretty interesting. Let's read this last response that God said before I end the video. Indeed, that monster was not human. You, on the other hand, are a human who has shined the light of divinity from the shadows of humanity and embraced it for yourself. You have risen above your nature and become something more than human. You have become a champion of God. Ballin'. I actually really like how this went. Like I said before, this was designed to be like a debate. I thought I was going to debate with Rathon Bor, like whose god was the better god, but both were supposed to be just concepts that when people then like prayed to them became actual like deities. While it didn't go that way, I still think it definitely told a very interesting story. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. I do AI Dungeon 2 videos every day, so make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. There's your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black the One Only, logging out. Peace, guys. Chicka bow. Chicka